pink. Hey! Yes! I will tell you a joy.
asobola okubanga alina bungi naye nga bonna ba ribbon.
Do you have a cracker for us?
What do you prefer?
When it comes to what?
Wet or dry? Wet or dry?
Wet.
Why?
Wet. Wet.
You like the rainy season?
I'll tell you off air.
Okay. Man.
Dry. Dry. It's a pass for me. Dry.
Why?
It's By the I don't like wet things.
You don't?
The way it was recently. Omusana nga gwakabuliko sponsor.
Mama Angel.
It's a pass for me.
Why?
I want to trap myself.
In what?
Depending on where the question has been rooted.
Yes.
As straight as simple as wet or dry.
I'll
answer for her. Dry.
Let me answer for her.
Dry.
Yeah, dry.
Dry.
You're
dry. No, I prefer wet.
No, you are lying.
No, I prefer wet because I like to drink tea, hot tea.
What's your get at? Where is the wetness in tea?
No, I'm.
Isn't it a liquid?
It's a liquid.
You know
No. What are you trying to say? Tea is dry.
Let's get back to what has brought us today. You know, I went back to a discussing on life after childbirth. I don't know miscarriages. Abantu bade mu fumbo, bagizako kufuna abana. The people have lost like 7 miscarriages. Others have had like 3 stillbirths. Nga also and sometimes some of these things are biological. To dive in deep. Have you guys maybe had a neighbor or a friend who has experienced that before? I have personally. I have experienced a threatening miscarriage. Okay. And it was due to the rhesus factor. You've heard of the rhesus factor? Yes. I had 0 O negative. O negative O negative, and my partner had O positive, but we were advised earlier that katuembelanga zili different, O negative and O positive. When you get a pregnancy, ogwange kuba very strong. My blood pushes out the pregnancy. It's like maybe like a toxin. It's a foreign antibody. So it tries to push it out. Now this is where the problem comes. In case I get an accident, it will push it out like a better in shock to wash out over. That's why omuntu ngaina O negative, ngomuna ina O positive. Very many times, many people don't even know. I mean, I went ahead and asked my mother, and she told me, I have no idea what blood group I am. You see, so most cases we don't take that to find out what's my blood group, what's my partner's blood group. You just go in for the pregnancy, and the way your pregnancies keep coming out, they keep coming out. It's of recent when some hospitals, they are very serious about it. We need to see your blood group, even your pastor's blood group. But it's very, very necessary because you need to come to the root of it. That is one of the causes. I can't say that. There are also other causes.
You know, I really wanted to hear a story from someone from that side because I've had the rhesus factor and I didn't know how to even
explanation.
Actually, maybe what I didn't say is that because someone could be thinking, okay, so if I'm already married and my partner is O negative, I'm O positive, we shall never give birth. You can't give birth. There is an injection that you get. Maybe it depends on what your gynecologist will tell you. Some will recommend you take that injection at at 5 months of pregnancy, it's an anti-D. And not every hospital ministers this anti-D.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, so you can get it from different hospitals. Because it's expensive, some hospitals tebazitunda, but it's not.
In what
it's not,
range? What range is it?
I remember the person who introduced me to that information. She told me that it's 1 million, which is not. Okay, in some hospitals it's not. So you can go to our big pharmacies, the trusted pharmacies.
Yep.
First pharmacy, yeah, Bazilina anti-Ds, but you should make sure that it's your gynecologist who administers this. Yes, so you take it 2 times.
Yep.
In the midst of the pregnancy and also the day you give birth. So that I think when you get another pregnancy, it's still operating. Yes, but they keep taking those samples. They take a sample before you get pregnant, because it's very necessary to know your blood group before you get pregnant. No mania. Also your partners. Then also in the midst of the pregnancy, your antenatal, you take another blood group, and then they usually take another, or when you're sending into hospital, they take another test.
Susan, I want to commend you for sharing that
know.
experience. I mean, it takes a lot.
Really?
Yes, especially when you want people to break out from maybe corridors of silence and also address maybe key important things like
Those
this.
are key important things. And even when people are having counseling, people don't even know their blood groups and types. And you keep asking, have you checked for your blood group? No, I don't know. And yet these things are actually affecting people in their day-to-day lives. But well, infections are also one of the things that cause miscarriages. There are people that get infections and never treat them, and it can start as small as a candida infection, and those are UTIs.
Yes.
But then it go omuntu nachireka, and they just keep on living on with their lives. But by the time they now conceive, that the womb is not able to carry that fetus at that moment. So it forces the fetus out. But STIs, STDs, and all these infections, the moment you realize you have an infection, it's very important you go immediately and treat it.
Is there a situation okubanga, because I believe in this infection, but there are no side effects, maybe body ache or what, they're just normally. And by the time they realize it's actually too late, maybe 5 years, you know. The other day nali nebuuza abana P6 ndabagaza chine cervical cancer screening, you know, but I've realized that it's pertinently very important.
As Angel, it is not true that actually when you have an infection you don't know. First of all, an infection, you will definitely know. It brings itches. It brings out those light water. It is, light. The water is light and very itchy, and also the foul smell that is coming out of you. Okay, if you feel, because people might say, no, I didn't know, I was young and all. If you smell and the smell that is coming out of you is really abnormal, that is not normal. You definitely have to go for treatment or go and check up.
But Jean, there are some infections like yeast infections.
Yes.
I've got it before and I really didn't know. I didn't know how it is. And I went ahead and blamed the person who was buying the tissue. Remember, you buy poor quality tissue, now you see. Only to realize it was a yeast infection. So I agree someone may not know. Nalos and,
You're right.
It's something like...
Yes, you're very right, especially, and these infections even go, you've mentioned young girls in schools, they go as far as that. Now omwana agenda okuva ku ssomero nga teyeetegera, awuliranga they are on fire, they are burning, they don't know what exactly is going on, but simply because there is an infection and maybe even the toilets are not well cleaned.
Moving under a very fast.
Of course. Kuba tomanya oli java or no muno chakola, you don't know how they picked it up. up, and you're sharing a toilet, very many of you. So it's very easy to pick it up.
You get the cervical cancer screening. So they do a pap smear even on that, on those young ladies.
Yeah, you know, with pap smear, what I learned.
What's pap smear?
A pap smear, we've been talking about it for a very long time. A pap smear is a cervical cancer screening, and it is done to young girls before they give birth, 20 years, you know, but even to women who have, if you have conceived and have not done this pap smear, the first pregnancy, after that first pregnancy, you are advised to go and have this pap smear, because it avoids the issues of you didn't know you have cervical cancer. So it immediately screens and knows that there are cells that are developing in your cervix.
Waliwo omuntu asobola okubanga like kati bwabanga ayiseeko obanga they've had multiple pregnancies oyabeera takyasobola kukola screening test.
No, they can actually do it.
Anyone can do it.
Women are advised to have it twice a year.
Twice a year.
It is really because of the way it is. Abakyala bagyewala nnyo.
They say it's painful. Before they get pregnant, usually they say that people lose their virginity when they are doing it.
Not at all. Not at all. Yes, I understand Bajita, because there is an opening of the cervix and all those things, but the hymen is not reached.
Really?
And it is a very small skin that is very big. It is a very small. It's like a needle actually that has a swab, a cotton swab at the top. So it is passed through, and they just do.
You make it sound like it's not painful.
No, because it is disgusting, definitely, because of the.
An illustration was made.
You want to illustrate,
and they just did like this. It seems so big.
Yes, I mean, when they are illustrating, even they are microscopic. Just photos that have to be.
Just highlight on the issue of infections. You know, there are some infections omuntu zasobola okuba nazo nga literally tamanya, and there are even those that are passed down genetically. For example, an infection like syphilis. Bayisenga abantu mugende mwekubisa empiso z'akabootongo, mugende mwekubisa empiso z'akabootongo. Now in the earlier years you would literally find nti omwana azaalibwa naye ng'abeera n'okubeera, and every time they have a wound on their body, it brings pus, and they will tell you alabika alina kabootongo, bazadde be tebeekiriza mpiso za kabootongo, and it's very 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 possible kubeera nga you have this STI naye nga tomanyi.
Today I've understood that syphilis is kabootongo. I would tell somebody that there are two different diseases, but maybe I've overheard kabootongo.
You've said the one in Luganda and
in English. But let's explore a case study of a situation where a lady is married for three years, married officially, and they've been trying to conceive with their spouse. Bageze zako, bageze for medical, they've done all these scans and treatments to see where the problem is. How would you think, because there is psychological pain behind that, umtagezako, maybe the pressure from the in-laws that we need to conceive, naye kenyini are lost in thoughts because they're trying to conceive.
No, Lavani, stress. You know, stress also leads to miscarriages.
That's true.
Because research says that this miscarriage happens usually in the first trimester, and this happens before 20 weeks gestation.
Yes.
Pregnancy tubala weeks.
Yes.
A full pregnancy goes for 42 weeks maximum. Kati tubala weeks. Now, and there are high chances of losing your pregnancy in the first trimester. High. Kati, given our kind of lifestyle, nti wesanze okola nnyo, or let's say you're in a relationship where your partner is not being faithful, just that can cause you stress. Just that it comes with a lot of pressure. You guys, it's really serious. Nti, just those thoughts, because you know, the moment you conceive that child or that seed, automatically connected. What affects you affects the child. Remember about to gambanga or very stressed. I can't get stressed. That's what science says, because what you say ministers.
Something really important, especially what Chijakucha conceiving. And I was triggered to think, how do we prepare ourselves, especially Natugambe, we are going to conceive? Because people's mindset is intercourse. But I feel there is something before that conceiving should take place.
However, me, personally, it's hard to determine because, I mean, we take each step at a time, and sometimes, okay, let me give you an example. When I wanted to get pregnant, I didn't know that you can get pregnant immediately. Because usually, whether if you're married and you plan with your partner, like, can we get pregnant? So I didn't know that you can get pregnant immediately. Mugamba, okay, in February, can we start? Yeah? No starting, you don't know when you're going to shoot. So some things that come along you may not know. You don't know how best to prepare for yourself. But maybe one of the things that you can do, getting yourself a good guy. A good gynecologist. Then there are also some tablets that people usually take when they want to start, when they want to get pregnant. Those small tablets that people usually take when they're pregnant. What are they called?
The vitamin C.
The prenatal.
Yeah, the vitamin C to prepare the body. Yes, to prepare the body. Then mental state, you can try, but it also depends on the factors that are surrounding you.
But did you know, you guys, research has it that people, and a good number of people have miscarriages even when they don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Like there are people that conceive, that they've conceived, and then they miscarry without even knowing. And that number is actually very big, because most people think that it's the monthly period, yet it is actually a miscarriage. Katogenda okuwulira ng'obulumi busingako ate obwa normal month. Awo abamu ne bategeera
is that also one of the causes that actually normally we overlook that really causes miscarriage, and I think it's really happening so much in our locations is exposure to nitrogen dioxide.
Tell us that.
Air pollution.
Nitrogen dioxide mostly comes from burning of fossil fuels. Very exposed to and you know, research from the Salt Lake City in the US shows that actually exposure to nitrogen dioxide can contribute to pregnancy loss by 20% or 20%. And ebiseera ebisinga naddala abakolera mu urban areas, abantu abakolera mu butale in those urban areas, ojja kusanga nti we are exposed to omukka ogwo. Sometimes n'omukka okimanyi waliwo like waliwo kati nga omukka oguva ku sigiri n'ogenda n'oyokya akaveera okuma essigiri n'oyokya plastic ng'okuma essigiri, you're exposing yourself to all this nitrogen dioxide that comes out of burning those plastics. Now, before you know it, you're having 20% risk and chances of miscarrying. And it's something that we literally don't look at, but it's actually one of the causes.
Yeah, but let's also look at the lifestyle that we usually live.
Yeah.
You have talked about those fumes, but also do you know there are women that smoke? Now that nicotine pushes out babies, and it also there is we've been talking about it, and even how it changes the nails, the nail colors. But now you can imagine it getting into the womb, and it is stored there, such that woyagalira okuzaala okanya kulaba you having miscarriages, kumbe this nicotine.
The baby doesn't go.
By the time nicotine
wetukira
okukyusa olwala. But also twetaaga okujjukira nti there are those that don't actively smoke, but before where there are very many
Permissive
smokers,
smokers.
passive
Most
smokers.
even dangerous.
Yeah.
But maybe what we forgot, research has it that these couples that consecutively lose their pregnancies, it affects 1% of them. And you talked about people not knowing that they have lost, they have had a miscarriage. There are different types of miscarriages. There is one which is called the missed miscarriage. Yes. Now, this miscarriage, you don't know that it has happened. That's when you go to the gynecologist, nebakukebera, and it's the ultrasound that will tell you know what, you had a miscarriage. Yeah. So there is also another one called the complete miscarriage. You lost the pregnancy, and your uterus is empty. There you have experienced the bleeding. Now that's what most people know. That's what most people know, that now that's called a complete miscarriage. Then there is what we call the recurrent miscarriage. Recurrent miscarriage, this is when you get like 3 miscarriages. These are 3 miscarriages, and it affects 1% of the couples that we know about. You've heard of couples ababenanga I lost my baby, I lost my pregnancy, I got a miscarriage. That's called a recurrent miscarriage. Then there is what we call the threatening miscarriage. Threatening miscarriage, your cervix stays closed, but you have bleeding experiences from the pelvic cramping. And that one, earlier, you get spotting. Kati bolaba spotting, if you are wise enough, you can easily go to your gyne. No mugamba, I saw this yesterday. Nagamba, hey, baby, we take ku bed rest. And by the way, when they tell you to go on bed rest, please listen. Because as we talked about lifestyle, look at our roads. They are so bad. At it concern your borders, even the taxis. Most cases, the driver doesn't want to know that I have a pregnant woman on board, but you're having a threatening pregnancy. So when they put you on bed rest, please comply. That's called a threatening miscarriage, meaning anytime it can come out if you're not serious or if you don't pay attention to it. But if you do, kubanga gyno are keeping monitoring, meaning it's very necessary to have a gynecologist. Very, very important.
But you know that, so even to add on to that, there are women that have weak uterus.
Inevitable miscarriage. You are bleeding, cramping, and it has started to open the dilet. You may leak the amniotic fluid. I think now they can only do that the condition that you're in. Yes, because the people bonga wamanya bati mfunyo olubuto ngagenda bamutekamu akakantu to hold the pregnancy.
But I also want to believe it's
no, it's okay.
I really want to believe that with such kind of people, olumu it's because ntiayinza okubanga abadde with a number of miscarriages that have happened, and literally their uterus has become weak. But also people that are above 35 or above 40, batera okubeera with such uterine issues, weak cervixes and chromosomal abnormalities.
But also, let us not ignore the fact that if you do a lot of abortions and have a weak cervix,
abortions
no, I mean tomanya oli kyagenda okukola, waliwo ababijjamu obubi, waliwo abakola, and they really destroy the cervix. So
it's very, very normal for ladies in our time who call abortion. Very, very, like it looks very normal by that.
They even have the right hospital to go to. It is sad.
I looked at a myth where the lady actually used to go to the bar. Nagambanti, for her, she used to drink because she wanted her baby to be light skinned.
There are so many.
You can imagine such
someone also told me nti bannange nze gwolaba waneno ngenda kunywa wala gyomwana nimugamba sikiwulirangako omwana aba mweru
nga atukula.
abogamba bowaraji beba nabantu aba eyo gundi bagitala teje balya
Abayirungi.
va ku bbumba eyo gye banaza n'olubuto
Mumbwa.
emumbwa
Emumbwa izindala.
bwe baginyuna it brings dirty things on there on the babies era abantu abasinga bazadde abaana nga badde banywa emumba omwana abeera n'ebintu mu mutwe some not all omwana abeera mukyafu so mbu banywa awarage
To clean the baby.
Ne bakilininga baby
But that is so bad.
and it can become a habit.
Very true, and the addiction actually. But the report from the biomedical research it shows that in Uganda 1 in 3 women experience a miscarriage. Church together, 3 of us. One
One of us has experienced a miscarriage.
You know, church together. Our population of women or female being more than male, it means there are more miscarriages in the population of Uganda. There are abantu how to handle these miscarriages when they happen, and I believe there must be medical attention when
Actually, that reminds me of a friend who tried to conceive using the IVF, which is very costly, and she got twins. Katibambi in the 6th month. She got a threatening miscarriage. Actually, she had to rush to the hospital. Ne baba jam. And the nanny, omanyi bino tufuna banani abakadde. Nanny namugamba omanyi obadde olyanga nnyo ennaanansi. It is acidic. And I'm like, could it be?
There are so many
Because
myths.
sometimes, you know, sometimes your body might crave for a pineapple.
Yes.
And you would want, someone told me, what your body craves for, it's
you
what the
give.
child wants. So you eat.
But I ate pineapples.
You did.
Wakubanga, when you eat pineapples, I understand katomwana mbu bwabanga ntuno bwabanga ayina amalusu manjaga walyanya nanasi.
Neddagala bagamba bikajjo.
But there is also a myth that people should watch out for. Do you know that they say when you start getting a threatening miscarriage that no nevu?
Are you sure?
It's a myth. But now we want to demystify these things here to be, so that people know that when you get the moment you conceive and you know that you've been planning to conceive and to have a baby, immediately go and get a good gynecologist so that you start your antenatal care immediately, because in that way you are given first the vitamin C's, for example, immediately. The moment they know your folic acid, vitamin C, you're given those things and the womb stabilizes. If there is anything that is involved with your cervix, they hold it, they tie it, they give you bed rest, but that is only known when you go for
a gynecologist and early enough.
Yes, and early enough.
Jiwawa abantu abagala okutambula from one gynecologist to
another. That is
they
not
get
good.
extra complications because every gynecologist will tell you what
Something different.
Me, I have a feeling. It has happened to me before. I got the first gynecologist who was okay. Go to the whole day. This government hospital. That means you're going to leave everything that you're doing. Atewala. What if I get another person who is good and someone recommended someone? Because some, yes, they're gynecologists, but they're gynecologists who don't give you every information that you need.
Yes.
I know of one gwebanga mbambunga akwa document naga gendo some. Then why have you as a guy? Bugendo some. In a big hospital, you can imagine.
Really? But people must also understand that Susie, your gynecologist may not work for me. I can't get akatambula mbachala mtufu. You can have 5 gynecologists and all of them will give you different stories.
But there is no way, because how are you then going to monitor? You see, one thing maybe we should also put straight is that when you go to the gynecologist for antenatal this first time, first of all, on top of avoiding the miscarriages and threatening abortions and all, bakuwe chipande to monitor you first as the mother, so that they understand that, okay, because it has to be a progressive something progressive. If your weight, for example, is stunted, they will know that omwana munda takula. And they will work on it immediately. They will take you to the scan, and then the scan will give you whatever report it gives you. Because, by the way, do you know that miscarriages are not really known, especially in Uganda? The things that are known are stillbirths, because it is very hard for a woman to report a miscarriage. That chibebera keyo namira panado by the way banange miscarriage
in a period of 20 weeks.
Yes.
Ezembuto ezivaamu abambi yavuddemu olubuto tuli mu kwogerako leero
beyond 20 weeks that becomes a stillbirth, right?
Yes, and those stillbirths are more registered, and you see the statistics you gave us of 1 out of 3, but now for stillbirths 30 out of 1,000 women. Stillbirth kwe kuzaala omwana nga mufu ng'afudde kubanga
ne bakugamba nti omwana yafiiridde mu lubuto.
Those are stillbirths.
Let's hear some comments coming in from the audience, and as I read them, bwawa abamu kyemanyi bagala kutweyungako kubanga they send in those comments. You can drop your comment on YouTube, that is at Promise TV UG, or any other social media handle, X, Instagram, TikTok, or kwese nambe tambula ko screen 0 mukaga 050 mukaga 0. Well, as we had this discussion, there was also another back end complaints that were coming in, and then there is Dr. Nyesiga Robert. He says this is a wonderful topic. And he continues to say high blood pressure, which is known as preeclampsia. We even lost a doctor yesterday due to this. It can either kill the baby or even both the baby and the mother. And so he also continues to say the way Stuart is quiet, anyway, he says Stuart seems to be quiet, but anyway, generous for generous. And then he says, I think he has been following it since the discussion. He talks about uterine abnormalities like fibroids, and then also I think he's been very pertinent in responding. Then we also have mending moments, Uganda. He says, unlike other losses, miscarriage grief is unique because the world often does not acknowledge it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The loss isn't just of a pregnancy. It's a loss of a future, a bond, and a dream. Yes, so those are just some of the comments that are coming in. Thank you so much, and keep the comments coming in as we continue with this discussion.
So Dr. Robert, sit quiet. I'm really contributing, but these ladies have more experience.
When Dr. Robert talks about the pressure,
yes,
it's actually very serious.
That's true.
I have visited ladies who have lost their babies due to pressure.
Yep.
Nebagamba ngomuntu had a relative, she was very light-skinned. And usually we believe when you're light-skinned, your baby should be light. Actually, omwana ng'omuzaala abeera light. Ne batugamba pressure yekizza omwana n'abenga ali black.
What?
Yeah, and like the baby died. It's that serious. Why do you think when you go for antenatal, they always check your pressure? We've had ladies, beba do some more theater because atuuse ku ground and they're telling her your pressure is too high, we need to remove this baby immediately. Ate ebimu bambi ekibireeta bamwera stress.
But I think it's on that it's at this stage where we should highlight the issue of domestic violence. Do you know there are homes where our husbands are so insensitive to an extent into agenda kubeera ne fight ne mukyala we irrespective of whether they are pregnant or not. And it becomes a very, very challenging issue. Kubanga I've personally seen a relative who lost a child who had a miscarriage because they had a fight with the husband.
And it's possible.
And Gundi, like, it was very, very devastating, very painful, and the man was here also crying, but he was beating up his wife. He was beating up his wife, and ngatafayo na kufayo nti olwokuba whether the lady is carrying or not. Naye n'omukyala naawe please baako gundi ezimu ze weesonyiwa naddala ng'okimanyi nti you're expecting.
People need to understand that when someone is expecting, they're in a different world where they need all the support ever needed. Chomuntu yasobola gana yejiramu ekikopo agamba bana mupereze ku kikopo, because now the energy, the other little human being growing in them is also requiring a lot of attention, energy, and also the food. Really, especially when you go to the rural areas. Yet it's a chimpo, she has to go to the garden. I don't know how those guys survive. But you can find that they produce healthy children.
Normally. We're talking about miscarriages. You know, there are ladies, maybe like 2 to 3 kids. Now when they get this other pregnancy, well experienced. They don't even go for antenatal. I'll go at 6 months.
I'll go at 6 months.
Or 7. But you know, there are problems that can be detected earlier. That's why when you go to your gynae, come back after this period. They monitor that baby.
That's true.
You know, everything. You feel like, you know, every pregnancy is different. Every pregnancy is different.
The way that I think it also falls in lifestyle, not nutrition. We should look out for the nutrition. Mothers should really look out for the nutrition. That it should be quality. You know, it is not time. Yes, having a small size and all these things is good, and you know, but eat the real amount of food so that you're not starving the fetus. Otherwise you are going to also get malnourished. Before you know it, there is a temulitidisa to help you even to hold the, you know, the fetus. So it's very good that that nutrition is taken care of.
I think ng'omukyala bambi bw'oba osobola when you're expecting, please sooka ove ku jjanka oyo lye emmere eri zaagala jjanka nedda please olubuto ne bwe luba lweyeza kansuubire nti olubuto terugenda alina ayan ng'omaze okumusiika but gundi irrespective of olubuto okuyoya please lya ku mmere eri organic bw'obanga osobola. Refrain from junk because you're expecting. You have to nourish your child that you're expecting.
You know, I'm forced to believe that the moment you say you want to or you're going to conceive or you want to have a child, then don't start 6 months to when you think. Do the consultations. Last year you talked about the nutritionist. Ntaboneka a nutritionist. You know, this is my blood type, this is me. How can I go about it? I want to have a healthy child. We may have a gynecologist, well and good, but sometimes do you know that they don't give us all the attention we need? Kubanga about to the next client and the next client. So they just tell you what you need to hear and then you leave. And still like have those questions that you need to maybe those questions need to be answered. There's a change that you want to start conceiving, you want to have a child 2025. Mugendo a nutritionist, mugendo a gynecologist. If they have recommended those prenatal tabs or whatsoever they are, begin to take them. So that kubanga twine mentality you want to conceive? Yes. Go to the gynecologist. Make an appointment. We look more on the reproductive, and yet the full body system plays a key part in the reproduction of this child.
Angel, that is beautiful. But I'm looking at someone who cannot afford a nutritionist. Because the
consultation
exactly.
The gynecologist, it's between 50,000 to 60,000.
No, nutritionists. But
even me myself, I've just realized I'm guilty as charged.
But this is what I want to believe. The reason why we have elders, we have mothers. Also, I'm pregnant or I'm expecting. They're going to advise you accordingly.
Everyone becomes a counselor.
Social media. I went to social media and social media but don't eat cabbage. I didn't until I'm mama nangamba. If you tell me no people dear cabbage, you need the cabbage.
Fiber.
Yeah, so you need to go back to these people. I mean, they have carried like 5 children. There was a and maybe they care. They care a lot. You know. Then because to
but when you go to a nutritionist, when even you have a doctor, your doctor can tell you exactly what to eat.
You just don't know how to ask the right questions to your guy. Nenga bobanga obuuza ebibuuzo ebituufu ajja kugamba nti at least try to get this, try to get that.
But do you know, Stuart, they will not tell you everything. There is another side they will not tell you. And you're like, okay, so chogamba
forgetting. I remember very well there's even the issue of malaria.
Yes.
Do you know that malaria causes miscarriages and stillbirths and you know abortions because omusawo teyakugamba that you have to take the anti-malarials at a particular time oba okusula oyinza n'okusula under net, but those pregnant women, because at that moment your immune system is not as strong as when before you conceived. Now batera okufuna emisujja, that malaria takes out the fetuses.
Actually,
atogenda w'omusawo naga nali nina kugamba
about that.
And you're like, oh
really? What happened with my gun? And I'm like, but you know what? I went back home feeling cold. I wanted to throw the blankets and covered on me. No, but you need to give me that tablet to put under the tongue.
But so this is what we are talking about. Now you don't even know about it, but I have been in that situation of anti-malarials, and now there is the TT vaccine you must have. Hey, I did tell you have to do that TT. Hurry up, go and do that TT. But this is now 9 months.
Yes,
you are supposed to, which is really dangerous. But also let us get to know this, that in Uganda from 2014 to 2020 there has been a report and it was saying that the districts of Mubende, Kalangala, Hoima and Nebi are the ones that have persistent and high rates of miscarriages, and it is because of the distance of the health centers. Because also these are also factors that kubanga omukyala agenda nafuna obulumi nagamba kachantandikirewa, and the next trading center
edwaliro nga liri like 10 miles away
ate batinowa boda tebatera kuyitawo bayitawo ku macha na Ragulo, and by the time they walk there something has happened.
Speaking about those healthcare centers, yesterday my mom calls me. She says she's sick. Nemugamba bakutandika okukolako ngenda kusindika sente. And then she told me, tebakukolako nga tonaba kusasula. I told her, give me, let me speak to the doctor. I told the doctor, start working, I'm going to send you the money. We can't run away with your money. Then Nagamba, you have to first pay a deposit of 50%. In my head I thought I'm saying
50% of what?
50% of 90,000. And in my head I said 50% of 90,000. Nga ne budget bagikoze
already nga
and you know friends, you know experience genayitamu mu Kampala. I remember that day I wanted medical care. Naye nga hospital gyendamu tebakoze bali public holiday. Nensaba ogenda mu clinic, and the most devastating thing was when this guy got to know that I had this sickness, the guy doubled the amount from 100,000 to 400,000.
Insurance.
Mu clinic anti insurance tebakoze public holiday. Kati ngenda kutunula the medication is giving me ceftriaxone, these antibiotics. How much is it in the pharmacy?
How much?
3,000 to 5,000. And I said health is now a business.
Yes. Some people take it as as an opportunity to make money.
I think when it comes to health centers, there are some things that should be considered as emergency.
Yeah.
Because even right now, Yes, the ambulance has a freeway, but also you, when you have a pregnant woman in the car, you have a freeway actually. In case she's having a problem, that's something that we don't know. Also, double indicators to show them that it's urgent. Katineko health centers, because most cases, these ladies don't even tell you when they started to bleed. Mukoleko, because you're saving 2 lives. You can have to ask for your money. Then can't tell you.
You know the most devastating thing, Susie, is when you go to these rural health care centers. Ojakwesanga nti omukyala alina okukeera ssaawa 12. So that asanga omusawo agenda clocking out ssaawa 4 eyazze ssaawa 1. And maybe the whole day will tell them, you wait until they get an intern that comes at 2. The waiting time, the distance, and the amount. So center if you want to get immediate care. But getting back into this miscarriages, and there was women should not take their health for granted. Do you know something about medication? Yourself self-medication. No until this, because just 3 months ago, my husband told me how a lady was 5 months pregnant. She hadn't gone to the gynecologist, and she just collapsed all of a sudden. Looking at the postpartum report coming out, she didn't have enough blood. I mean, we were all like, okay, what if she had gone to the gynecologist for all these things to be established? She wouldn't have lost her life.
That is actually very crucial. Wabeerawo abakyala kino kankyogere mu Luganda. Wabeerawo abakyala nga bo beeyunira bamulerwa ab'oku kyalo. These are the local birth attendants, or at the village level. Now, ono omukyala anategeera if you're lacking enough blood or iron or what, kuba ajja kuwa the local herbs. The local herbs. So what if it's too much? Kigera ki nakugamba kale genda onyweyo ku amazzi agavudde mu bikoola bya ovacado kubanga definitely they have iron. Yes, it's true, but what if it's too much or it doesn't work? So it is very important abantu baffe tulige nti nno tulina okugenda mu ddwaliro the moment you know that you have been planning to have a baby. It's very important for you to go to that health care center. The government has tried really to institute and put up medical centers and health centers. And by the way, antenatal care is free of charge in some hospitals and in government hospitals until it's time to give birth. Then that's when you pay for the service.
But we also need to highlight that in villages, at least the Ministry of Health and I think with the US aid, they had tried to put VHT.
Yes,
village health teams. Yes, and those VHTs baba training to respond to basic health naddala ku bakyala abali mu expecting. Yes, those VHTs always batera okubeerayo mu byalo. So please omukyala nga tonnaba kugenda wa mulerwawo, so at least bw'obanga health center eri walako, please make sure nti at least otuukirira that VHT. But also omukyala, if you're not expecting, your peace is very paramount, because stress is one of the causes of miscarriage, more so in the first trimester. Please try to give yourself peace. Gezaako obutatandika bintu byakuyomba okuraisinga blood pressure yo, ebintu byokweraliikirira. Yes, ebizibu olumu ne challenges zibeerawo. Please try as much as possible okulaba nga weewa emirembe, kubanga at the end of the day risk eri nti tusobola okuluzinga abantu babiri at the same time. Ate ekirala egwe engine ekwakarinza omwana ono. So please weefeeko, weerabirire, weewe emirembe. It will help you a lot.
Maybe lastly, you know, there are ladies who don't like taking medicine. I know a lady who told me, Susan, Dagala, Ada, ngenda kugula ebintu ebyo ebiri mu ddagala. If it's if the aunt I'll take a baby to be a cola, jacudia liver, awali fish chamber, and jacudia fish. And I'm like, okay,
because they don't want to.
You need to take that medicine.
You know, there are very many
What is
people.
in your mind that it's not for you, it's for the child. You know, take care of that pregnancy. I tell you, the people who have all these things. Just 9 months. It's just 9 months. You can bear with the 9 months.
But you know, with 9 months, you need all the support. It's not that you don't know what to do. You just need someone, maybe a chief whip to
Yes.
Like that's better to inner support. You know, not all the time you have support. Sometimes you need to pick up yourself and you tell yourself, you know what? This is for me. What if you're in an environment where everybody is sick mentally?
But you still men need to understand providing support to their wives is crucial as the feeding, the diet thing. This emotional support is as important as the balanced diet we're talking
Also
about.
avoid social media. Also try, because you know social media carries a lot of information. So some information is sad. Accidents, those things disturb you mentally. Try to avoid social media as much as you can.
From the beginning up to the end,
Avoid it.
Well, friends, I think we can call it a close.
Yeah.
But also, this is a wide topic.
It is.
You know, it's a wide topic. I believe that in future we'll be inviting maybe a guest or a guy to take us more deeper in many of the other things that are related into that particular area of miscarriage. And to our viewers and audience, we want to thank you and say thank you for being a great audience. Thank you for participating in this discussion. It's been great, and of course catch us again tomorrow same time 6:45 a.m. to 9 a.m. Kakasanti otugera ku social media handle yafe at Promise TV UG on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It will be great. Well, coming up is the kindergarten, and from us to you we want to say bye bye for now.